Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So you might have heard the whispers that legacy automakers are catching up to Tesla or BYD, but they really haven't, not even close. We are talking smart software, raw performance and innovation that leave the old guys cooking in the sun. And in this video I will also show you Kyle's brutal roller test exposing GM's embarrassing failures and BYD's insane 308 miles an hour record-shattering U9 that just dethroned the Bugatti, and how newbies like Xiaomi is humiliating Porsche on the Nürburgring. EVs now owns every major title, from world fastest to the cheapest to maintain, the safest, and why even die-hard ICE car fans are switching sides after just one Tesla test drive. The legacy automakers are on their knees just trying to keep up on EVs, while the whole industry is about to be turned on its head by autonomy. Something the legacy automakers are not ready for. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. So the legacy automakers are in serious trouble, and it is worse than most people think. Some might even think they have caught up with the likes of Tesla and BYD, but they really haven't. Even in things that legacy automakers should be good at, the new kids on the block are beating them at it. Like Kyle from Outer Specs Review also made a video about as he tested out 3 EVs on how good their powertrain management was, just like we have seen many years ago done comparing the Model Y to the Ford Mach-E, where we saw the Tesla was much better than Ford to get out of tricky situations where some of the wheels don't have traction. But now Kyle was testing out cars from Lucid, Tesla and GM on a roller. And as you can see, legacy automakers have just been left behind in so many ways. This is something the legacy automakers should be good at, right? How good your car is at getting out of tricky situations, but they are not. This test does not use brute force, but smart software, something we see Lucid and Tesla is very good at, and GM, well, not so much. The Lucid did a nice job getting up the hill with the rollers shutting off some of the wheels, and at some point 3 wheels at the same time. But as Kyle also wrote, as a point of comparison, we couldn't even get the Escalade IQ up to the actual test spot where 3 wheels don't have traction. So we couldn't even handle that 2 wheels did not get any traction. Man, this car is just something that tries to look like something that can handle all kind of driving, but it has so bad software to control the car that it couldn't even get up to the point where the real test actually started. Kind of embarrassing. But of course the Tesla excelled at this test, as they have some of the best software, not just for your user interface, but also in controlling the car.
Why is the Model Y the best car on the rollers today? It has the best drivetrain management out of anything here without locking differentials, front and rear. Some of the rear differential stuff we can't even get up because you can see it locks both rear when it gets to that point. So here's where you'll be able to see just that front right tire is the only one that's going to be able to pull it up once it gets to this second plate. Here's everything's about to come off. That rear tire is about to slip, and that one this is the only tire with traction. So it's got to grab brakes and other sides, and then it just pulls it right up. That was the only tire that had traction, and it just grabbed that front left brake and sent the torque to the right, and it did it super seamlessly. It's so impressive.
Yes, very impressive what Tesla is able to do. Not only does they have some of the best performing cars and the safest cars on the planet, but Tesla also have some of the best drivetrain management. This is truly just such a big slap in the face of legacy automakers. What are they actually good at, other than making marketing campaigns? Because it's definitely not making EVs, because we did see BYD breaking some more records, as BYD just set a new record with the U9 Extreme EV that just hit a verified top speed of 496 kilometers an hour or 308 miles an hour at German's ATP Proving Grounds, making it the new fastest production car in the world, beating the Bugatti Chiron's 304 miles per hour. Holy smokes, that is fast. Only 5 kilometers an hour, so walking speed more, and they will break the 500 kilometers an hour mark. Just nuts. This car has almost 3,000 horsepower. That is just insane. I remember when Bugatti at some point put 1,000 horsepower in a car, and I thought that was nuts. And now we are pushing close to 3,000 horsepower. Just insane. And the car has an 80 kilowatt hour LFP battery, so that's very impressive as well. A new track-grade LFP blade battery with dual-layer cooling, capable of 30C discharge rate for improved thermal management. Density of each cell is increased by 170% compared to a lower trim, and it can charge with up to 500 kilowatts of charging speed. So one hell of a beast BYD is making here. But it's not just BYD that is embarrassing the old legacy automakers. The Xiaomi SU7 Ultra, as we have talked about before, has also beaten the Porsche Taycan around the Nürburgring in Germany. So the 90-year-old performance car company Porsche just lost against a tech company that has only been making 2 car models ever, and they started making cars in March last year. And they have just pushed Porsche to the side, showing that the Chinese do know how to make performance EVs that Porsche can't even keep up with. So no wonder that the Chinese don't really want to buy the Porsche Taycan anymore in China, when they can get the SU7 Ultra for a fraction of the price. And of course, all of Porsche's ICE models are also dropping out of the sky in China as well, because EVs are just a much better car today, hands down. As Sawyer also pointed out in one of his posts, just how EVs have completely and utterly taken over in the car industry, as he wrote. Number 1 best-selling car in the world, an EV. Fastest production car in the world, an EV. Quickest 0 to 60 production car in the world, an EV. Cheapest car to maintain in the world, an EV. Most efficient car in the world, an EV. Most environmentally friendly car in the world, an EV. Safest car in the world, an EV. And number 1 most American-made car, an EV. Pretty wild that not that many years ago, ICE vehicles held all these titles. Yes, and in China, we can actually add that the most affordable new car to buy in China is an EV, because the Wuling Mini EV start at only $4,900. So even the most affordable new car in the world's biggest car market is also an EV. And that will of course also come to the Western countries at some point, that EVs are the cheapest new car to buy. Not much left for the ICE car to brag about. Look, I can fill up very fast. Well, good for you, mate. I know I have shown this little clip before, but I just think it shows so well how stupid ICE cars really are compared to EVs.
Electric cars, by the way, the thing is, it's just a better car in nearly every dimension: performance, quietness, comfort, drivability, etc. So I've just written a piece for the Evening Standard where let's imagine this in reverse, right? Where all cars are electric and we're all nipping around in little electric cars and recharging. And this rogue Volkswagen engineer comes up with, I've got a better idea, okay? It's massively complicated. You put a huge tank of an inflammable liquid in your car, right? And then it feeds into these cylinders where we engineer an explosion, a series of explosions. Now, unfortunately, it only produces torque in a limited range of the revolutionary cycles. So we'll need a thing called a gearbox, which we'll need oil for. And then we'll need an air filter. And then we'll need a water filter. And then we'll need all this stuff. It's going to be vastly more complicated. So you go, easy. Does it perform better than an electric car? No, not really. No, okay. Is it quieter? No. Quite the opposite. It's fucking noisy as hell. Right? Is it cleaner? No. It's farting stuff out of the back. Right, okay. So is it simpler to make? No. There are 250 moving parts in the drivetrain. I know electric cars only have 7, but this needs 250. Right. Okay. So, what's the upside? Well, you can refill it really quickly. Can you refill it at home? No, obviously you can't refill it at home, right? You're not going to have a fucking petrol tank in your house. Are you fucking insane? You're not going to be able to refill this thing at home, right? No. You'll have to go to a special place, which, by the way, won't just be a little thing on the side of the road with a rapid charger. It'll be a massive thing selling Ginsters and Marks and Spencer's. Basically, that guy's career's over, right? Okay, so the 0.05% of the population who routinely drive 350 miles a day and have such enormous bladders that they never need to stop, they're going to benefit slightly from this insanely complicated engine, but the rest of us are going to have a horrible time. No, I don't really see this is going to fly.
Yes, ICE cars just don't make sense anymore. And I know there are still many people out there that are saying they will never buy an EV. But when they try one and realize just how much better a car an EV is for less money, most people will make the shift for sure. Just like this guy wrote on X. Not gonna lie, I used to be an EV/Tesla hater. I was one of those I will never buy an EV diesel only type guy. Until I test drove the Model Y. Hands down the best purchase I've made. I'll always have an ICE car on hand, but it will probably be pretty rare to catch me without the Juniper nowadays. Great job, Tesla and Elon Musk. Yes, so even EV haters like this guy can be turned around when they try it out, because an EV is just so much better than the polluting, noisy, can't fill up a home, no instant torque, is boring to drive ICE car. So the Chinese are coming for sure, and the legacy automakers are stumbling, as they can't keep up. But Tesla can, because they do make great EVs with great software at scale. So even though both Ford and GM and most other legacy automakers were out saying that they would catch up to Tesla, and had very ambitious EV targets, to make the whole world think they were easily going to be able to do this and catch up to Tesla. Well, now we're here, and they have all backtracked on their EV targets, and the ones catching up are actually the Chinese. Not only BYD has gone from less than 1 million cars a year to over 4 million cars a year, including their plug-in hybrids, of course, but also just someone like Xiaomi that has only been making EVs since March last year. They have already, in the first half of 2025, sold about 180,000 units of their 2 models they have available. That is more than Ford and GM have sold of EVs in the first half of 2025. And they have been making EVs for years. So not even manufacturing cars is something the legacy automakers can do better than the Chinese. They all promised the world, but it was actually the Chinese that delivered. And don't forget that the Chinese invited Tesla into their country, allowing them to have a 100% ownership of their own factory as the first automaker in history to do that, because China needed Tesla to help them make EVs cool, as China had bet on EVs being the future and wanted the Chinese people to adopt them. But that didn't really happen before Tesla came along and made EVs cool. So the whole EV boom we see in China was ignited by Tesla, and Tesla has a very good reputation in China. And even though the former US president gave the title to Mary Barra, she electrified the whole industry, and it mattered. Well, we all know who has forced the whole industry to go electric and revolutionized the auto industry. And no, it was not GM and Mary Barra. That was just embarrassing. But everyone knows that Tesla is the leader, and Elon Musk is the one that has pushed the whole auto industry into the new paradigm. Even Honda's executives is saying that Elon Musk has been the most influential person in the history of the automobile. So those are kind of some big words coming from the guys from Honda. Just listen to Michael Dawn here from his great interview he did with Brighter with Herbert.
I'll tell you something that really struck me when I was in Detroit last week. It was the 100th anniversary of Automotive News, so it was a big celebration. The owners were there. and they had as their special guest the EC from Hyundai, Yusen Chung. And they said, Mr. Chung, in the last 100 years of automotive history, all of it globally, who is the single person who had the greatest impact on the auto industry? And coming from a legacy automaker, you'd expect him to say, I don't know, Mr. Toyota or Mr. Ford or someone, Alfred Sloan. Guess what he said? He didn't hesitate. Elon Musk. Elon Musk completely and utterly transformed the industry and has forced everyone else to awaken and say, wow, there's all kinds of new frontier out there to be explored. I thought that was highly significant coming from the leader of Hyundai, which in its own right is doing very well among legacy automakers. It's arguably the strongest. So Tesla continues to be in the eyes of the Koreans, the Germans, the Americans, and the Chinese as the global leader in innovation and with regards to software, and in particular these days with regards to FSD. So I'm still very optimistic about Tesla. I know you are, and there's good reason to be so, especially since we have Elon back full-time on Tesla and the SpaceX empire, like XAI, all of it. He's really all in these days.
So everyone in the industry knows that Tesla and Elon Musk have been the one disrupting the auto industry, even though mainstream media is not painting that picture, and are going to be the most influential company and person in the automotive industry when we look back in 20 years from now, as there has never been a bigger shift in the auto industry as the one we are seeing now that is also colliding with full self-driving technology. So while the legacy automakers are still struggling how to make a good EV profitable and just trying to figure out how to make a shift to EVs, the industry is already being disrupted yet again with autonomy. And Tesla is once again leading the way here. I know we have some people clinging to that Tesla only have level 2 in autonomy. Well, they do have robotaxis, so that is more than level 2, but still people are not really looking at the technology and only looking at the autonomous level. Because yes, the tech that is in the Model Y you can buy today is just level 2 compared to Mercedes that has level 3 or Waymo robotaxis that have level 4. Yes, but Tesla's level 2 can drive everywhere. As you can see, they are driving all over China, on dirt road, on mountain roads, even finding its way out of construction zones with no roads at all. And it also drives all over Australia and New Zealand and North America and in Europe. So sure, it is level 2 because you have to keep an eye on it, but it can drive everywhere, even as level 2, whereas Mercedes level 3 cannot drive everywhere. It can only drive itself if it is driving behind another car on a highway in very good weather condition and at very low speed. So not even true highway speed, even though it's only allowed to drive on highway. So yes, completely useless. It is a traffic jam system. So people are trying to argue that level 3 system of Mercedes is better than Tesla because that is just level 2. It's simply not getting the technology and only looking at, but it is level 3 against level 2. Yes, even Waymo is at level 4, but it cannot drive everywhere, as Tesla's level 2 can. It can only drive in these small pockets they have pre-mapped. They're driving on digital rails. So the Tesla supervised full self-driving system is still better than Waymo's level 4 system. But level 4 is better than level 2. No, it is a different system that is allowed to do something different. But Waymo's cars cannot drive off the road or all over China or all over Australia or Europe, as we have seen Tesla demonstrate their system can. It's not perfect yet, and that is why it is level 2, as people still have to keep an eye on it. But the people that understand the technology understand that even Tesla's level 2 is so much more capable system than most level 4 systems out there. And legacy automakers are nowhere near having a capable full self-driving system today. They are relying on other companies to make it for them, like Mobileye. But I think they will hardly get to just being able to make EVs profitable at scale before the next disruption knock them down again. Autonomy. So the Chinese are definitely coming fast with EVs and tech, but it is still missing the car being driven by AI. They are starting now, but they are missing what Tesla has been doing for a decade, getting real-world data from millions of cars. And that car fleet is only growing. But the Chinese are waking up and realizing this is where the industry is heading next. As we can also see with BYD, that not long ago the CEO was out saying he didn't even believe in autonomy. But suddenly they want in and have all their cars equipped with some kind of driver assist system. As they could see, just getting an EV at scale was not going to be enough anymore, as I have talked about so many times before, as autonomy will make all cars without it obsolete. ICE or EVs doesn't matter. So BYD might get to 6 or 7 million EVs in production, but if they don't have full self-driving software, by the end of this decade, all those many cars will be completely and utterly obsolete. So we are seeing the shift in the industry. They are starting to wake up, and the Chinese are the ones that have scale and agility, but are still missing the full self-driving part of the picture, but are trying to get there as fast as possible. Whereas the legacy automakers don't really have anything, really. They don't earn money on the EV shit. None of them really have their own full self-driving system. Their cars are not even better at doing car stuff than the Chinese or Tesla. All their technology comes from third parties, and they don't even have a profitable EV at scale. Whereas someone like Tesla has EVs at scale, even autonomous vehicle at scale, as all their cars they make today can drive themselves. So Tesla already has all the pieces, from scale to agility to autonomy. So while the Chinese are coming fast and grabbing market share from the legacy automakers that are struggling, Tesla is, in my opinion, sitting with the best cards on their hands, and will come in and give the last fatal blow to the legacy automakers with autonomy. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.